I started programming when I was 12 years old, which gives me around 7 years of experience at this point. And today in this video, I want to tell you all of my advice that I have learned in those 7 years of my experience, so that you don't have to make the same mistakes and can get started way quicker and easier. Now, my first advice is to stick to a single programming language at the beginning. It doesn't matter which one you choose, any programming language is good enough, because all of the concepts that you learn as a beginner will translate to any other programming language. Now, of course, every programming language has its own special set of concepts, but those concepts are not too important at the beginning. The important part in the beginning is to go and get started and gather your first experiences with certain things like if and else, switch case, for loops, variables, things like that. Now, the reason I say that is that beginners tend to go and learn a programming language, and once they have done their tutorial, they might mess around with it for a day and then they'll move on and learn another programming language, which is definitely not what you want. You want to pick one single programming language and try to master it as good as you can, because once you have the basics down of a programming language, obviously, like I said, it's super simple to switch to another one, but that's not what counts. What counts is that you know a single language which you can use to build amazing things and where you know some more advanced concepts of. For example, updating a text after clicking a button with JavaScript. You don't want to stop there. You want to go and learn a framework, learn a database, learn Git, learn everything that revolves around this language instead of just moving on to another language like C or Java or whatever. Because if you're trying to get a job in programming, they're not looking for people who know all the programming languages. They're looking for a person who knows a single programming language and all the technologies around it, but who can solve complex problems with this programming language. And it usually doesn't even matter which one. Sure, if you're applying for a web dev position, you gotta know JavaScript. If you're applying for a large bank, they will probably want you to know Java, but in the end, it's not that important. All right, cool. So you started learning a programming language. Now, you will probably find yourself skipping through tutorial after tutorial. The issue with that is you learn things from tutorials, but you won't really remember them unless you have tried them out yourself. And you might follow along the tutorial, but that still doesn't really teach you anything. What I'm talking about here is tutorial hell. Tutorial hell is exactly what I've just described, which makes you feel stuck because you're building tutorial project after tutorial project without learning anything, because you're just copying and following along. What you want to do to fix being stuck in tutorial hell is jump in the cold water and build something with all of the things you know. And it's like no big deal if you have to look things up. Just go out there and build things without following a tutorial to build it. Just build anything and start being creative about building it, because that's how you learn. Coming up with solutions for issues yourself, even if they're not perfect, is the exact thing that gets you to understand all the concepts. And talking about building projects, this brings me to my third advice, which is building projects teaches you by far the most. Because when I started programming, I bought a book and I used to flip through all the pages and then use a pencil and write down things and try to study it. And I've tried things out, but I've never really built anything with it. So I would just build an if-else or a for loop or like a teeny tiny sorting algorithm, and then never have it implemented anywhere where it matters. I would have just tried it out, like copied it from it, and then moved on to the next thing without having used it anywhere. And that's exactly the point at which it starts to matter, because building cool stuff is obviously you showing people that you know how to do your stuff. Even if you don't know it at first, this experience will come. You just have to go and get started. It'll also be fun, and this is what makes you remember all the things and understand them deeply. And in the end, I mean, you have a cool thing to go and show it off. I have built my new portfolio. You can check it out under this link right here. It's exactly what it says right there. I live to build cool stuff. So to recap everything, the first point is to stick to a single language and get good with it. The second point is to go and escape tutorial hell and make things yourself. And the third point is that building things yourself is what teaches you the most, so you totally have to do it. And that sums everything up. So if you're interested in why a computer science degree is useless, I will put a video right here so you can keep watching, or there will also be a random video right over here. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.